Scott Kennard there with John Hudson losing a lung, maybe two. I don't know. And they're frustrated since 2016. Sammy Jenkins there. Hope everyone's doing okay this morning. Oh, hey, and Tobin's kicking around too.
T-Bone.
Yeah. Times. Man.
You know.
Good morning.
And I see a Kendra arm there.
Oh, a Kendra arm too. Huh?
You got a little piece of Kendra.
Hey, if you don't know, then you can't know.
Then you can't know.
Dude, Andy, you had a rat that you have to dispose of?
Yeah.
Just last night, this just happened. Seriously.
I love that John froze like that.
It's pretty fun, dude. Yeah, John, you're frozen, brother.
But Kendra saw a roach. I go and I killed the roach. She's like, please pick it up. And, of course I'm picking it up. And I go and I toss it into the trash. She gets up and she goes to put on her sandals. And she's like, oh, she was like, did you stick that in my shoe? And I was like, no, it just like, as I threw it, it didn't stay in the rag and it fell in her shoe.
Oh, hey. There's a moral there somewhere. Yeah.
Double check your work.
Right. Check your work.
Reminds me of one of my favorite comic strips. They're called Foot Rot Flats. It was a New Zealand comic, actually. Long story short, about this big blokey farmer guy, and he goes to bed one night and sees a big massive roach on his wall, and he rolls up a massive newspaper, and then he has this moment where he can't bring himself to do it, so he gets a tissue and he grabs it and he fluffs it out the window, and he sits back down on bed with a grin on his face, and as he goes to turn the light off, you see it running up his back.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah,
it is interesting to see how like different areas in the country, right? If you're in a warmer, wetter climate, I'm in a cooler, drier climate, so people have different attitudes towards insects. For me, it's like they must all die if they are in my house. I'm not going to lie to you. Well, people who have them more, because the climate is wetter and warmer, definitely have less of a that kind of attitude, I think.
It's probably partly that, but it's partly, if I kill that one, there's 100 over there, so what's the point?
Yes.
Just let them go.
Just let them go.
Can't kill them all.
No.
So to kill one is kind of mean.
I kind of have a fascination with them too.
John, the only thing I heard is something Republican Party.
He feels that way about the Republican Party.
Bugs,
we can't kill them all, so we have to. We can't kill them all, so we have to let them live.
Yep. I can see that. I can see that. D mentioned in the chat that DC Comics has Robin, I guess, of Batman and Robin, coming out as bisexual. I haven't picked up a DC comic in a long time.
Yeah, like nobody knew that.
Man, he shouldn't be anything other than a raging homo. I'm sorry.
I think I'd like him better.
Yeah.
It would make him more real.
Yeah, it's what everyone already thinks, like. But it does bring me back to your story about you're mentioning the conversion and wailing on their mothers. Well, I have a theory, right? Hear me out. I have this theory, and it's scary more than it is funny.
Okay.
Because it's a growing trend. take Jesse Lee Peterson. He's your prime example of this. But there's other people popping up. Like there's a guy on YouTube called Entrepreneurs in Cars. And
Yes,
actually,
I've heard of this
we've
guy.
played clips of him, Andy. Yeah,
Yes.
but they have this theory that women are evil. They're incapable of natural love. That they are essentially all only looking for the next best thing that comes along.
Yeah.
And that mothers, especially single mothers, use their sons to replace the men in their life that they've never had. They try and make their son the perfect man that they always wanted, and thereby feminize and demasculinize the men. So long story short, it's all mum's fault. Everything's mum's fault. And she needs to say sorry. And you can forgive her. You'll learn to forgive her. And this is the rhetoric that they just vomit.
So let me see if I understand this correctly, because it's so much information, and it's crowding out the useful information, Sammy, right now in my head. So there's this neo, Freudian kind of theory out there that women can only be evil because that's their nature, and that they are looking for the next best thing, which of course is not some kind of projection of the male psyche onto the female at all, right? It isn't like we do anything like that about shopping around for mates. And so single moms, they use their sons to symbolically replace you. They put them
this imaginary man that they never got.
right.
So they try and turn that son into this man that's not a real man, that doesn't
It's like
exist.
a platonic form of a man.
Yeah.
And
I believe who's coming up with these ideas is really the fucked up one.
well, you know what? And I just got to say this, and Rage exactly was echoing what was going on.
I was going to say Jordan Peterson says this same shit.
Yeah,
You've got Jesse Lee, Jordan Peterson, Entrepreneurs in Cars. They all have that same mothers are to blame.
And the thing is, with the only difference between Peterson and these other people is that he uses multi-syllable words, references that his fans don't understand, and he has a PhD after his name. That's the only thing.
It kind of rings with Caitlin Bailey's stories yesterday.
Yeah, systemic misogyny. That misogyny, and there's this kind of witch hunt kind of attitude amongst patriarchy, and that women get into positions of power and authority, and then men realize that. And I think she used the term "the bleeders are talking with each other." And
dude, no, that was freaking hilarious. The bleeders are talking.
Yeah, and then systematically subjugate women. And I've listened to her podcast, Towards I View. Oh, The Oldest Profession is the name of her podcast, a number of times. And it does seem to be a cycle of women obtaining positions of power in a society and then getting subjugated by the patriarchy. Yeah.
It's funny, actually, talking about subjugation of women. The latest installment of the JW conventions just come out the Sunday morning, and one of the talks in there, so there's a symposium of 3 or 4 talks about I can't remember the title of it, but it's about celebrating women of faith and be like women of faith. And so this celebration of faith, and of the 4 talks, 3, the dramas are about men and how men can climb the ladder, the JW ladder, if they have faith like these women. So it's still geared towards men, but then the one talk that has a drama with a woman, he brings up this verse from Matthew where Jesus, a non-Israelite woman comes and says, "Heal my daughter, she's sick," and begs him, and he ignores her.
Yeah.
And after so long, his disciples say, "Can you send her away? She's annoying." And she gets more, upset and, "Please help my daughter." And he turns to her and says, "Is it not silly to take the food from the children and throw it to the little dogs?"
Yeah. That's pretty
He
great.
literally calls the woman a dog.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And that's the verse that he bases this talk around.
So now I'm intrigued by this, Sammy. So basically, you have Jesus being racist. I'm not going to give out healings to non-Jews, basically, to this non-Jewish woman. And how did the speaker somehow use this to make it a talk about women?
Because the title of that talk was that woman, be like the not, I want to say Jesuit, it's not Jesuit, whatever Shuite woman or whatever she
All
was. She didn't give up, and no matter what, even though Jesus was just testing her faith to see,
Was he?
Yeah,
He
wasn't being a fucking jerk. He was testing her faith.
I don't remember Jesus ever healing that woman's daughter. Did she? Did he?
Did she fail? Well, he doesn't go any further than that verse. Like,
yeah,
It's always with this testing and proving yourself and like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Now I'm curious.
Because it's Matthew chapter 15, if that helps.
Okay.
It's just, that this is how glazed over they are, because it was about the fact that she wasn't an Israelite. It wasn't about that she was a woman. They ignore the fact that Jesus just called a woman a dog.
Right. He did heal her. That's the moral of the story. So he did insult her.
Yeah.
Called her a dog. But then, hey, you're a dog, but I'm going to heal you anyway.
I like dogs.
Because you hassled me enough.
Right. So the moral of the story is that the husband can, or this woman, or women in general, are supposed to take all this kind of verbal abuse.
Oh, you're taking this all out of context. You're interpreting it wrong. Don't you know?
I'm looking at the
Women are
Bible
supposed to
verses
be
right
scared.
now.
I'll give you the correct interpretation.
I'm looking at the verses right now.
Wrong Bible, Andy.
Wrong Bible.
Fuck
right.
me, Ronan.
Well, this is which I don't even know which version. I like the NIV version because it's one of the crazier versions. That's one of my, yes, and this is the NIV version.
I love that no matter what, you can get a Bible Gateway, all the Bible Hub, all the different places that list all the Bibles for you. You'll never see the JW Bible.
Well,
no one takes it legitimately.
I've heard Robert Price say that it's a good it's a good translation, to tell you the truth.
I think
maybe
I'd like
the first half, the Old Testament,
right,
where the only thing you can say that they did well was put back wherever the tetragrammaton was, so the YHWH, they put the word Jehovah there.
Okay.
Whereas all the other versions put Lord. They'll just capitalize all the letters of Lord where the tetragrammaton was, and then capital L lowercase rest of the word if it just said God or Lord.
And for those of you who are just tuning in, when the Old Testament uses different versions of the word Lord, as in the capital LORD, the lowercase Lord, from what I understand, they are different names for God that have been translated into the uppercase, all uppercase, and then the lowercase. So they're actually different words that being translated in that way.
Mm.
So I have to ask. I
And
know.
so what they did is put but they didn't just put Jehovah back where it was, or Yahweh, or however you want to say it. They then went ahead and put it in places it never was
Oh,
throughout the entire Bible, including the New Testament, in which Yahweh was not a word. It's Greek language,
right.
and they didn't use God's name. So
I would imagine since Jehovah's Witnesses are monotheist, they're like monotheists, right? Jesus isn't of the same substance as God.
no, but still, if you count angels or and Jesus as lesser deities, they're still gods. To me, a spirit being, I guess, yeah, I see what you're saying. To me, they're still polytheists, but they are monotheists. Jesus is in no way, he was actually created by Jehovah.
Bam. That's it.
So
right
he
there.
is God's only begotten son. That
Right.
terminology in the Bible, they say, means God created him. And
So
then Jesus created everything else.
Right. So my question is, in the JW New Testament, is there less of this attempt at shoehorning Trinitarianism? Because there are some versions of the Bible that try to shoehorn this kind of idea that God the Father, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit are part of the Godhead.
Yeah, there's still parts in there that do point to that, but they haven't actively shoehorned any extra bits or tweaked anything towards that. Obviously, because they staunchly don't believe it. But still, their own Bible still has verses where he says things that do imply. He never outrightly says it, but he implies.
Sure. Interesting. Yeah.
So, I mean, their own Bible still says. So God says, "They'll put no other gods before me," and then Jesus comes along and says, "No one comes to the Father except through me."
Right.
So, which is it?
There's a contradiction there.
Yeah, no matter how many times.
But they'll say, "But Jesus isn't a god,"
Right.
and that's how they get around it. So,
yeah, no matter how many times you try to hum that tune, you're not able to harmonize it. Is that a shitty play on words? That is a shitty play on words, and I apologize to all of you for that. John Hudson playing it right. So, John, it is
round two. Round
9:15 or something.
Yeah, 15 minutes on the minute.
I feel like I should be drinking now, to tell you the truth.
Fuck! I tell you what, it's helped me get out. The kids the other morning wanted me to go to breakfast with them, brunch, and my daughter bought me a bottle of Day Drinker, and she's like, "This for you, Dad. They made it for you." And Treaty Oaks is actually crawling distance from my house. It's a distillery just down the road. I have to. It takes me 15 minutes to go to the store, but I could go to 6 different vineyards, wineries. Let's see, Frog Pond, Dripping Springs, Treaty Oaks. I've got like 4 distilleries that I can crawl to.
Good for you, John.
This is a fucking
Did you strategically choose that house for that reason?
Hill Country, Texas. Dripping Springs is fucking cool.
Yeah, I have to say, I've gotten to travel that area and explore that. It is, there's a lot to do. You could eat at a different restaurant for a long period of time, like every night, just have somewhere different for a
French
very
food,
good amount of time. Yeah, the array.
French, Italian, the faux house. The kids love it. I love it too because I get my fucking Mongolian beef there, and it's fucking rocking for my meat night. I've been doing a lot of. I've cut back on the meat, tons. Tomato and avocado sandwiches have become one of my favorite, topped with a little aged. But I did blow it up the other night. I put some boar's head. What was that? Fucking sun-dried tomato and basil ham on it, and bam, it was like fucking $15 a pound. But
it's expensive stuff.
I don't need a pound. And if I was going anywhere to get a sandwich worth a half a squirt, it would cost me $15.
What were you gonna say?
You know, someone's cutting back on meat when they have a meat night.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
I put on fucking 50 pounds, Sammy.
COVID.
Well, in retirement, between the two, and then moving out to fucking hill country with all the fucking fabulous booze and food.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
I will have to say this might be one of my more autistic tendencies, but I can eat the same thing consistently. I can go to the same restaurant consistently. My girlfriend asks me where I want to go. I'll like say one of the name of the 3 restaurants I like, that I really like. You know, I'm able to go to other places, but yeah, I could easily, like when I'm done with this show, I go downstairs and I eat the same food I pretty much eat almost every day at this time.
See, and I've always said, I'm discovering all the time things that are autistic traits that I just thought were just me, which it is just me, but I'm exactly the same. So we could go to any restaurant. My partner will know what I'm going to order because I'm only going to order one thing. But my reasoning was, well, I know I'm going to like it.
Yeah.
So why would I order something that I might spend $50 on a fucking meal and then push it away? I'm going to get what I know I'm going to like.
Oh, right.
Well, it's like my daughter said, she's going to throw out all my shirts that are drab looking. She goes, because when you put on a drab shirt, she's like, you're fucking like neurotic and anxious and everything. She goes, I put you in a bright shirt and you're a happy guy.
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting.
One of the things I used to do with my kids when they were real little and they would start crying for whatever reason would be to pick them up and just walk out of the room. I don't think I ever read it anywhere or anything. It just worked. And then I was like, I just kept on doing it.
It's diffusing, and it does work. If you can take somebody out of their environment. I did that with my guys. I'd have guys come in that were just having a shitty day. I know it wasn't nothing at the job. They just brought it with them to work. Yeah. You know, I'd fucking go put my arm around them. Hey, fuck Tony, what the fuck's going on, And I'm like, Antoinette again, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, it's dude, probably, you know what? You're going to fucking spread it to the fucking gang. Why don't you just take the day off? Take the day off. I'm going to pay you. Work it out. Work this shit out, brother. And we'll see it tomorrow with a smile on your face. Can we do this? And, I wasn't big about giving raises. I was big about giving bonuses. At the end of the week, depending on what the crew accomplished, I fucking greeted them with a Ben Franklin in my hand. And I always shook their hand and thanked them every fucking week for their service, And that Ben Franklin would go fucking huge places. And it didn't always have to be a Ben Franklin, because there was weeks that we did not perform. But, Andrew Jackson was always welcome,
Sure. I'm not going to say no to Andrew Jackson, even though he was a genocidal maniac.
You know what? At the time he did what he did, he was a fucking asswipe for sure in today's standards. But what happened then was then, man. I'm sorry, but he was a dickwad. He was a dickwad. He did evil fucking things, no doubt about it. my family was slave owners.
Oh yeah.
The Hudsons that came out of Texas were fucking slave owners. They came out of actually Arkansas before that. And Ben was a general in the Civil War. He had slaves. Grandma Leela, my great grandma, who lived to be 108 up in Denton, Texas, had slave families that lived on the property, which she actually willed the land to them. And they are fucking loaded now. So shit happened. There was reparations paid. But
I'm not laughing at
after
you,
the
John.
fucking war, they came back to live on the property.
So what are you gonna say, Sammy? Take us out of this.
You phrase it like just brilliant times, and your face was.
Fuck. I'm not a bad person. I just need better internet.
Yes, yes, John Hudson.
I don't know. I think we kind of went a bit past whatever I was going to say.
No, you can go back to that, Sammy. You can go back to that.
Sammy.
I can't remember.
Okay.
Go back. Go back. Think. Reach.
I think we were saying something about like the environment. I remember saying something about like changing the environment can help people.
Yes, getting people out of the spot.
Yes.
I'm thinking we all need a fucking beer.
Maybe a beer is not the best thing for you right now, John Hudson. maybe I can make that humble suggestion at this point, at least for the next 34 minutes. But okay, so back.
Yes, I was going to say it's like 90% of our job, isn't it, Andy? And we call it redirect. Redirection. Yes.
Yes, redirecting. So, you just it's just really showing someone a twinkly object or doing something. You know, John Hudson, man, you are. So this is what happens with day drinking, John Hudson. Let's.
Hey, you know what? I don't have fucking.
So how much have you been day drinking so far, sir? So where are you at right now? Oh, frozen again at just the right moment. I don't even know what I was talking about. I do not know. Oh, redirection. Yeah. A lot of it is just redirection. To tell you the truth, John, give me a moment here, brother. Give me, every single time I think John's speaking and he's about to enter the red zone, I'm going to hold up this little red card just as, like, John, you're about to enter dangerous territory and I'm going to save you from getting banned on the internet. This is what's going to happen. Okay. I think this is a safe policy actually for anyone, is that if anything's getting too crazy, the red card comes out. I would show a yellow card, but I don't have a yellow card here. And now he's good. Work it out, John. Work it out. So, and this is by the way, this is an example of a distraction too, showing this at the same time. Look, it's something that we're not going to talk about the other things, but see, here's a card. Puts it back down again. And comedy has actually helped in my job a number of times, de-escalating people, distracting people, funny faces, funny walks, all kinds of things have gotten people when they're ready to pop off, when things are about to get physically violent or they're yelling at people. You just do something silly and it can definitely de-escalate the situation.
I just try to stay out of those kind of situations.
In my personal life, man, yeah. I have to tell you, in my personal life, I am like, having grown up in a rough spot, it's like you get to identify danger from far away and you're like, I don't want any part of that. I see what's going on. There's no way.
There's plenty of space for me to go to.
Plenty of space. Yes, John Hudson.
Just leave the red card up in the corner there and I'll behave.
Okay, John Hudson. Okay, John Hudson. I just want to save you from from yourself.
Myself?
when you've been
Yourself.
here. That's all I'm trying to do. That's all I'm trying to do.
And that's why I love you, brother.
I try my best. That's what I try to do.
You're awesome. And these two fucking cats, they're friends. We're talking to each other quite often.
That's good.
They hang up on me quite often, but I understand.
Who could hang up on John Hudson? Who does that? Who hangs up on
Never.
John Hudson?
Never.
You're in silence there.
I'm like that Texas Sam Kinison.
Wasn't Sam from Texas?
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he was from Texas.
I don't know who it is.
Say it. Say it.
See, that's what Texas does to people, apparently.
Yes, I come from a humble Mormon background. Spent 2 years in Texas. And yeah, fucking who?
Were you going to say something, Tobin?
Better make it Texas sound.
I'm kind of stuttering in my own brain right now. I'm trying to just absorb all that is going on.
Yeah,
John's
The wisdom.
having that effect on us all.
I think so.
I'm the life of a fucking party.
Apparently you are, sir. Apparently you are.
I tell you what, we go to the bar, I'll get all four of us later in a fist fight, I'm guaranteeing.
Well, I have to tell
That's
you.
not my kind
Red
of
card,
party.
red
I
card,
have to
red
say.
card, red card me, fucking red card me. I
Does
need
that
the
help?
red card.
There's your red card right here. Well, we'd have John just beat up the other people. That's all. I've always been a happy drunk, to tell you the truth. As never really gotten myself into a physical altercation with anyone, a physical fight with anyone while drinking.
I've probably been in 20 fights since the age of 50.
Oh, since the age of 50, you've been.
And he's
Probably
51.
in 20, what?
And he's
58.
51.
So John, you've gotten into like a bunch of fights since the age of 50. Have they been with other gentlemen your age?
No, fucking younger.
Of course they are.
I'll fucking, I'll put them
expect?
across my knee and spank their ass.
Kinnison, Simply Secular Dave said, Kinnison began his career in Houston, Texas, where he performed in small clubs. He became a member of a comedic group at the Comedy Workshop, known as the Texas Outlaw Comics. I could see that. And actually, he had I think he had a brain injury too, to tell you the truth. I know that Roseanne Barr had a brain injury, and that's what got her.
Roseanne Barr was from Utah too.
Oh yeah. But she had a head injury while she was in high school. She was in a car accident, and that explains. I think that explains a lot of her behavior, her maybe out of control behavior.
I've heard her
numerous
say
head
some
injuries
stuff
that were never.
like that.
What's that, Tobin?
I've heard her talk about it a couple of times. I can't say the details, but I do remember her expressing sentiment like that.
Yeah. She was on, I think, Marin's podcast, or maybe when I was listening to Joe Rogan regularly. She had mentioned the car accident when she was in high school. Yeah.
I've had numerous head injuries that not one of them treated.
Well, yeah, back then people didn't get treated for head injuries, not in the same way that they are now. Definitely. It was pretty. Yeah, it was
Duct tape it together.
It was basically medieval kind of medicine for head injuries back in the 70s, back in the 80s.
My dad preferred cling film himself for putting wounds
Cling film?
back together.
Oh yeah.
I'll have to show you the
Wrap
scar
that shit up.
I got a good story. Dr. Jim, he's a doctor for the hockey team in Salt Lake, AAA team.
Mhm.
anyhow, he's a friend of mine.
You know, I think that would be a great story if we could only get. I feel like we're talking in Morse code, John Hudson.
Talking to a robot. What'd you do
You know
with
what?
John?
I'm going to do a YouTube thing. I'm going to do a YouTube channel that just tells my fucking life stories.
Well, crazy stories by John Hudson. I think that would be. I would watch that stuff, to tell you the truth.
Oh, you know what? You'd think it was fiction, but I'm telling you what.
I've heard enough right now to know that they are not fiction, sir.
There's a lot of miles on this. It's not the age; it's the mileage.
Yes, I would agree with that too. I would agree with that too. Yeah.
You run at 200 fucking miles an hour, you're bound to travel.
Yep. I would say that too.
It's
yeah, but seriously,
very quickly.
What's the stopping part that hurts?
What's that, Tobin?
Very quickly at that too. Going
Yeah.
200 miles. Yeah.
So
Per hour.
if you did do a YouTube channel, I think it would be great. And just talk into the camera and just tell one succinct story and then go to another story. I think that would be hilarious.
I would definitely subscribe to that.
Yeah.
But you got to get yourself some good internet.
That does help. That does help.
When I go into the big house, it's good. And you know what? That would be a fucking sexy video in there too.
Oh no, I don't need that, John Hudson. I don't need sexy video from John Hudson.
No, they'd just be saying baller with the kid's pad. It's fucking something else. In a fucking barn.
Please, no. I'll just put it in front of my eyes then. Audiobook only.
You got to be quicker on the card, Andy. Quicker on the card.
Indeed. Well, I try to talk you down a little bit before John Hudson. I try to talk you down a little bit, and then the card. And then sometimes when you don't see the card or pay attention to the card, I'll put it in front of my eyes. See what I did there? That helped.
Oh, see, I knew there was another name, and I thought I was being clever saying cling film. We call it cling wrap.
Okay.
And I thought cling film was the other name, but it's saran wrap.
Are you saying it would saran wrap your head if you hit your head hard enough?
I was exaggerating, but my dad has sliced his finger all but off. It was just hanging on one side, and he stood it back up and asked someone for the saran wrap off their sandwich and wrapped it up. And every hour or so, he would just unwrap it, squeeze the blood out of the saran wrap and wrap it back up.
You keep anything together like that, and it'll grow back together. I've proved that.
You know, I just wanted to I'm going to completely shift gears for a minute. There was this crazy comment. I don't know if anyone else saw it on, I think it was yesterday's video on GOP versus the germ theory of disease, part 666. And I got a person who doesn't believe in the germ theory of disease who put down the comment. Mike Smith has 2 subscribers to his non-YouTube channel. And this is what he wrote. This gobbledygook, this word salad. Germ theory has been refuted. All illness is from within. You cannot pass on cold or flu. Virus are non-living enzymes with no nucleus. They are solvents created by the body. All diseases are merely the body regulating homeostasis versus the lymphatic system. Think cough, sneeze, vomit, and skin eruptions. The body can do no more. I don't understand what this means. We group these processes up and give them specific names when they are the same toxemia in different manifestations. None are contagious. And he does say thank you. So he's a polite lunatic, Mike Smith. Love you, buddy. Shine on, you crazy diamond.
Well, thank you, Q. I mean,
yeah,
it's a theory, but I don't think it holds water. And I'm the insane motherfucker.
You know,
It's like
he
you got this important information, and you're gonna just go leave it in the comment section of a
oh,
YouTube
right.
channel. Like,
Oh, I
if this
He'll
is
get
something legitimate,
traction.
It's like, where's your Nobel Prize, man?
you know, and it's so typical of like of the pseudoscience, you know, conspiracy theories. He knows of some words. He just doesn't understand things about like homeostasis via the lymphatic system. And
Well, I've done a little bit of science, and I found sometimes when you put the pencil up your nose, the eraser sticks.
and that's how you can
That's
that's how,
repeated science.
But hey, one thing, when the crayon melts, it just kind of flows out.
that's oh wow, that's a pro tip right there, John Hudson. Thank you.
Advantages of living in Texas. This heat's awesome.
You know, and I wanted to share that during the regular show, but I forgot all about it. I got caught up in the horrible news cycle.
The scary thing, Andy, is I understood every word of that.
Oh
It
yeah,
was garbage, and he didn't say anything. But I do understand what he was trying to say, and what he was trying to say was a load of shit
yeah. Well,
and
you know,
just completely wrong.
it's similar to the ways how I would write some of my posts. You know, you start out strong, you say germ theory has been refuted, and then you just throw in like crazy word salad. And like I said, at least he's a polite lunatic. You know, he did say thank you.
He did end strong with the thank you.
He started strong, ended strong, threw in a bunch of crazy words in the middle, which could fool people who do not understand words or thoughts.
Well, this is the thing, like, and we laugh about it, but to those people who say, why do you give a shit about this? Is because these are the people that aren't wearing masks and that aren't getting vaccinated, and
Exactly.
on and on.
Those they are dangerous. I mean, there were dangerous people before the pandemic. Let's not fool ourselves, right? They voted, they attended rallies. You know, some of them did. But now
Well,
during the pandemic, they've
look at
become
my name.
frustrated since 2016. Indeed,
And that was pre-pandemic.
yes.
So
That was epic pandemic.
Yeah.
Well, what's scaring me is what it was. The kids got it in early of March of last year, and they were sick as shit.
Yeah.
There was not supposed to be COVID in the United States. My daughter's friends with friends that were coming from overseas that she worked on an air base. And Desi came over and the kids got sick. Nick and Jack, just really boogery, sick fucking. Phoenix, I thought, had bronchitis. I actually stayed in her room for a couple of nights just because I was afraid she was going to stop breathing.
Sure.
But COVID was not supposed to be in the Americas at that time. I'm crying bullshit. The kids had a test later on, and they hadn't been sick prior that said that they had it.
Yeah, I have to tell you.
Since then, I've only been tired. I never showed any symptoms.
Well, that's yeah. You know, I think there's a general rule, right? And we've talked about this for quite a while now, that if you keep asking yourself, gosh, am I in a civil war? You're probably in a civil war. If you keep hearing about zombies, more than likely there are zombies close by to you. Like if you hear like there's a zombie infestation somewhere in Wuhan, China, there's a good chance that there's some zombies running around your place too, no matter where you are. That's paranoid. That's paranoid. And I know that's paranoid. But zombies move fast. Zombies
So are you saying that when
I came up with it the other day?
Let Sammy talk, John. Let Sammy talk.
For the last 20 years, when scientists were trying to say, hey guys, the Earth's warming up, that was actually a thing.
That was real.
That people were saying, Maybe
Yes,
we should start listening.
I was on my honeymoon with my ex-wife. It was 1993, and we were up in New Hampshire, and there was I think he was a Canadian, and he was a farmer too. And we were talking about global climate change then, and we were talking about how the grain belt is moving up into Canada. And this was well over 20 years ago. Well over 20 years ago.
I first heard about my geography teacher explained to us, and it didn't have a name. We didn't have global warming. It might have been global warming, not climate change. It was global warming, but he explained to me how the equator was going to expand and the tropics were going to move further out from that band.
Yep.
And that here where I am, that we would lose our 4 seasons. It would slowly become more like our north, and we get the wet and the dry.
Sure.
And that was year 10, which is I was 15 or 16, and I'm 39, so basically 40. So do the math, because I'm not going to. But that's how long ago. And it was not a thing, and we heard nothing about it on the news or anything. But this geography teacher understood.
He understood what was going on. Yeah, people who knew. People who understood. John Hudson, yes, sir.
What the fuck are you guys doing about it? I'm planting trees. I'm propagating trees. I'm dropping seeds. I'm fucking making a forest where I'm at. What are you doing?
I don't want to meat shame you.
What are you doing?
I don't want to meat shame you right now, John Hudson. But if we're talking about what I am doing personally, I'm not eating meat, and that is actually
not a fucking tree.
Grow a plant. I'm going to say that the cows that I save from going into my belly, they might be worth more than your trees. I don't want to throw down on this right now because I don't have the data, but maybe, perhaps.
No, but I think where both of y'all kind of like agree on, and I agree with both of y'all, is that it takes the people that to create that action for us to like, make these kind of changes. There's not. I'm having a hard time articulating what I'm thinking, but like, there's product and demand. Like, if all the people are not pushing for this product, it's not going to be made.
Yeah.
But how do we get ourselves?
I don't think I'm explaining myself right.
The cows drop the shit. I spread the spores. Everybody's happy.
Actually, I could even say, and I don't like talking. I'm only talking about vegetarianism because John's talking about his treeist policies and trying to eco shame me here.
I'm not. I'm just saying what. No, no shame. But it reminds me of that Monty Python movie, Life of Brian.
Great movie.
They talk about what they're gonna do to fucking bring everybody right, and there's never no action. Let's have a meeting on it. The meeting.
Well, I think the best thing that we can do. I mean, and let's face it, one of the things that we shouldn't. This is a fallacy. That organizations, that large companies, want us to believe that it's our fault and our individual responsibility to suddenly go, turn the clock back in terms of global warming, right? When it's been the corporations that have been spewing this crap into the atmosphere, paying off politicians to have, coal-powered fire plants, coal-power electrical plants, and a variety of other kind of industries that shoot out greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. And really, it's that level. Like, I can recycle all I want. And in fact, I showed a meme about this the other day. Like, you can be as green as you want, but it's capitalism that is causing the climate crisis. And until we get a handle on capitalism, on this kind of American style, this late stage capitalism, then you can be as green as you want, plant as many trees as you want, not eat cows, whatever. But it's just a drop. It is a drop in the bucket.
Andy, all I was saying is, I'm doing my part that way.
Oh
You're
yeah, yeah,
doing
I
your
know what you're
part.
saying, John. I'm just giving you
You're,
shit too, John. I'm just
you're
giving you shit.
doing your part your way. I mean, if we could get everybody doing a little bit of part, you know, the sum would add up. Would it add up to 100? No, I don't think so. It is the corporations that are fucking polluting the fucking world. Period.
And you know, there has to be at least once a day when I'm watching CNN that these goddamn petroleum companies, the fossil fuel industries, are showing these fucking commercials saying we're part of the fucking solution. We're not part of the problem. We haven't gotten we're not the ones responsible for getting us into this mess to begin with. You know,
And
same
I
thing with the
think that
plastic.
answers what.
That kind of reminds me of the South Park episode where the oil company who's apologizing for the oil spills. I'm sorry. It gets ridiculous. It's
Right.
Trey and
And I
Matt
think
were
that sort
fucking
of
genius.
answers what you were saying, Tobin, about the demand. Yes, I get that. I always thought that was the problem, and we need to stop people wanting shit. But I don't think that's possible. And I think that the way we are and the way corporations and society works, we only want what we get told we want by the corporations.
Yes.
If they stop making something, we'd stop using it.
Well, when I was in college, this is once again
Because
ages ago, back in the early 90s, there was a bill we were trying to pass through the Massachusetts legislature that would limit the amount of wrapping in packages, right? You would either use the least amount of packaging possible, or companies would have to pay for it. And of course, that didn't pass. It didn't pass in 1992. It hasn't passed now. You just got to pick up a package from Amazon, right? And there's like a box within a fucking box. And between the boxes, there's like wrapping paper. So
Bubble wrap.
if we had a functioning federal government, we could put down regulations that prevented large companies like Amazon from just like killing us basically with this excess packaging.
we passed some laws recently, and it was a bit of a jarring change, but I'm glad that we did it. So they blanket banned plastic utensils of any kind,
Yeah.
straws, knives and forks and spoons, or your picnic utensils and stuff. It's all wood now. Or the straws are fucking useless. They're paper. I just take the lid off and drink the cup normally now because
It's like we could have done that all along. It's like we could have done that all
Yes.
along.
Right. But I take the plastic lid off. But at least my straw was paper.
Right.
So
right.
it hasn't been nearly enough, and I don't know that it's even going to be any real change, but it's a step in the right direction.
I'm such an idiot. So the girlfriend and I, we were at Starbucks the other day. I'm a Dunkin' Donuts guy myself. Actually, I don't mind getting coffee from the gas station because it's cheaper. But she likes her Starbucks, and I got a nice coffee, and I'm trying to find a straw, and like an idiot. And my girlfriend's like, "What are you doing, Andy?" It's like, I'm trying to find a straw, and there's no straws here. She goes, "Look at the cover." I looked at the cover, and it's like a sippy cup cover, right? So it's basically there's no place for a straw. There's just an opening. You control the amount of liquid coming out of the fucking cup, but there's just and I go to her. It's like they could have been doing this all the fuck along, and they've been killing us with straws. They've been killing the planet with fucking straws.
I found I could turn any bottle into a hummingbird feeder. I can turn any bottle into a hummingbird feeder. And you know what's beautiful about that? I can sell them for $50, $60.
That's a pretty good deal, dude. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I just want to go back to my anger about Starbucks and these fucking covers, right? It's like you could have been doing it. You could have been doing it all this time. But now this is the moment when Venice is flooding, right? that wildfires are all over the country. This is the time that you decided that maybe we could go to this special cover that we could have done a lot. Oh, it just got me so angry in that moment, and it still gets me angry now.
Took till we had to wear face diapers till we would pick up our sippy cups. Which is what they are.
Great.
They're adult,
Great
they're
analogy,
adult
man.
sippy cups.
It costs
Great.
more money to make the lids, more complicated plastic extrusion. But I imagine that there's less plastic being used totally from the lids than a lid and a straw. That's what I'm guessing. But maybe I'm wrong, the girlfriend. You're at least one standard deviation smarter than I am. And so and also, I think the shape of the straws themselves are deadly, right? I mean, they get into the water, they fuck up animal life.
Well, that's one of my problems with going solar out here is the carbon footprint that it actually leaves to produce and what it costs. I mean, there's a cost there. I'm not holier than thou for going this way. Where I am better is I collect rainwater. I've got 17,500 gallons of water on storage out back. I've got a well, but I don't know what the fucking neighbors dump into the ground. Yeah, I'm not drinking that, but I know what falls from the sky.
I'm like a hop, skip, and a jump from getting a still suit. Yes, is that a Dune? Is that a Dune reference? Maybe it is. Maybe it is a Dune reference.
Dune? What year did Dune happen in?
Well, that's I believe, far into the future.
I think it is.
Far away. Yeah.
And not to get all conspiratorial on you, John. Not to get all conspiratorial, but we don't even really know.
I've picked and chosen my conspiracies that I really believe in. But you know what? They haven't defuted them. What happened there?
When I hear, okay, I'll be quiet. What were you going to say?
No.
Oh, yes. So there is a carbon footprint created with solar panels. There is a more complicated molding process for these lids, as the girlfriend pointed out in the in the chat, for making these special lids. And yes, geothermal energy, and I'm going to bring it to geothermal energy. It does take money to make a geothermal power plant that is probably more expensive than a coal-powered.
Actually, yeah, you're right, because the silicone has to be heated up to like extreme temperatures.
And this is why the profit motive sucks.
Releases fluorocarbons.
This is the problem why capitalism and the profit motive sucks, is that there's no incentive typically to make the long haul investment in either there's just added cost to the plastic cover, so fuck that, we're just going to do straws. There's no immediate benefit of having a geothermal power plant. It's going to pay itself off in 20 years maybe, but we don't need that. We want something. We need a profit right now, in the next quarter, in the next 2 quarters. So that's really the kind of battle that we're in.
Hydroelectric.
When you hear things like gas-led COVID recovery, from our government, when the whole country was saying, this is our chance. We're the country where we have every climate, we have because we've got the lava, the thermal, the ocean, the wind, the solar, the whole shebang. Let's plug into it, and lead the world. And our government turned around and said, we're going to build a gas plant.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it has nothing to do with the gas industry.
You don't even need lava to do the geothermal. It could be water lines ran through your yard at 3 feet down. It will help heat and cool your house year around.
It is. Yes.
Now there is a cost to produce the electricity that generates the pumps. So, and that can be pulled solar.
What were you going to say, Tobin? Looks like you were going to.
Yellowstone, at the geothermal, the water gets over 200 freaking degrees. Like, people have fallen into this thing, and like you're dead. I mean, but it creates so much heat naturally.
You
But
go
it's a national
anywhere,
park.
Tobin. You go anywhere through the West, you'll find geotherm where there's water that will burn your fucking ass to the bone. They're all over. In Utah, perhaps there was a volcano, millions of years ago. That the caldera that Yellowstone is on has drifted all the way actually from California through Nevada, Utah, Idaho into Wyoming, Montana area. But it's been going on over a period of millions and millions of years.
Yeah. All right. On that note, everyone, I don't have to work today. This is actually a day off for me. But when I don't have when I'm not working at my job, what I'm doing is that I'm still creating content and doing stuff. Yes, atheism, right here. Right. All right, everyone. Thanks, chat. Thanks, everyone on the panel. This has been a lot of fun, as always. Take care.
Love you guys.